a journalist for some 40 odd years, and the Scottish political tent, I can tell you, is not a big place. Yet, I recognise less than a handful of the people who were at that meeting today. My other observation, the audience was dominated, I reckon, by a 4-1 majority of middle-aged or older men, much fewer women, and only a smattering of young people. They may be attracting young voters, and young men in particular, but they ain't signing up.
Is John Boothman, who was at that rally in Falkirk for us. Let's speak to Ted Newson, who's a political commentator with Young Voices UK, formerly a Tory, on his way to becoming Reform. Ted, I believe. You're on the journey.
Good evening, Darryl. Yes, so what we saw today was an absolute barnstormer of a rally in Falkirk for Nigel Farage and his party. Massive attendance, 600 people, I believe, was said. And yes, it was an absolute showcase of the Reform grassroots movement. They showed councillors, MSPs, and now the defection of formerly Lord Offord to the Reform Party.
It doesn't sound like you're on a journey, Ted. It sounds like you're very firmly there already.
Well, I think the Conservatives have got a lot to do in winning back public trust. They're suffering from what has seen their success for the last century and what's seen them as the party of government, and that is being broad church, Darryl. Unfortunately, there's too many real liberal Democrats in the Conservative Party to make it a formidable right-wing force to challenge Reform.
Okay. Nigel Farage says of a pact between the Tories and Reform that the idea is false, he says, but this is an interesting line. He says, after 14 years of dishonesty and lies, they should never be forgiven, says Nigel Farage. And yet, Ted, forgiven enough to be welcome into Reform.
Yes. I mean, I think there are certainly Conservatives within the party that have been disillusioned over the last couple of years. Not everyone in the Conservative Party is complacent about how far our country has sunk over the 14 years of Conservative misrule. And a lot of people do want to go back to first principles of what made the Conservative Party great in the first place. And many of them are joining Reform. What we've got to do is we've got to influence Reform so they pursue a right-wing agenda rather than maybe socialist policies that are more populist in nature.
Does that concern you? Because I mean that has been the accusation, hasn't it? I mean the economics of Reform at the moment. There's a lot of spending involved.
Well, that is the issue. When patriotism gets conflated with socialism, and you're out there giving people who belong to the nation money simply to buy their vote. It's all about...
Is Nigel Farage a socialist? That's sort of describing where Nigel Farage is at the moment. Matthew Syed, Times columnist, says he's joined the Conservative Party because he thinks that Nigel Farage is a socialist.
Well, I've heard James Cleverly say the same thing.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm not buying that. During conference season, it wasn't an attack line that the Conservative Party used. They do seem to have dropped that now. So I don't think even the Conservative Party buy that, let alone anyone else.
Sure, okay. More accusations of racism as well this weekend. Last night, another former colleague of his at Dulwich suggesting that Nigel Farage had a big issue with anybody called Patel and that he would sing anti-Semitic songs to Jewish schoolmates. Nigel Farage has said that he never directly racially abused anybody. This is not going away, is it? Is it on your mind, Ted, as you make this journey to Reform? Are you concerned about who you might be joining?
Well, this issue keeps playing up, and ultimately it's an issue of playground bullying at worst. What was happening in the country at the time, a lot of casual racism was simply accepted. And if you're growing up at that time in the country, you're going to express similar views yourself.
And should he? Well, not necessarily. I mean, I spoke to somebody the other night who said racism was racism then as it is now, and that was a decision that somebody made. I accept the argument about the era. I wonder if therefore Nigel Farage should apologise, just explicitly apologise.
I think certainly the culture was different. Even things when I was growing up would not be considered appropriate now, let alone in the 70s. So I don't think he's got much to apologise for. It might not be acceptable now, but it was acceptable then, and other people have gone on the record as saying so. Okay, all right. Ted, thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate it. Ted Newson, who is a political commentator with Young Voices UK on that Reform rally in Scotland.